some people I meet in their business are like, well, I'm good at marketing. No, actually, you really suck at marketing. I'm looking at your strategies and your funnels. You're not good. Your brand is more important than how much money is in your bank account.
You just live your identity. You're here to serve and help, and you want to see people win.
I would say everything you want in your life is how you frame yourself and how you frame yourself with the world. Branding is really just a frame, it's just a screen of what you want to view, and how you view that something is everything. Whatever you believe, you do. Whatever you do, you have.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Average Suck Show. And if it's your first time, welcome to the Average Suck Show, where we take the time to sit down and find people that live above average lives that are doing incredible things. Typically people that are entrepreneurs or people that are helping people run incredible businesses. Today's guest is somebody that you must meet. If you're an entrepreneur or helping somebody run an incredible business that believes that it's capable of more, there's one very big part of our businesses, and it's about building the brand and the identity of that brand in a way that allows the business owner, the entrepreneur, to truly live the life they want, but also make the business be what it's capable of being. The guest you're going to meet here, Travis Brady, is somebody that I met here at the Institute about a year ago. And the coolest part is we had one of the deepest conversations. In the 2 seconds we looked at each other and we're like, got it, we are on the same page. We're into the same kind of stuff, because it isn't just about learning the mechanics of marketing. It's really about learning the mechanics of how human beings operate, what makes them do what they do, and how to get entrepreneurs to be the best entrepreneur possible. So he is the founder of Brand X. There's an expo that goes on here in Phoenix every single year. And on top of that, he is the founder of the AZ Brotherhood. Coolest part about it, he's an expert in the area of marketing. He has been a coach. He's helped out with fitness. And most importantly, he is going to show you how to make a difference in your life and business and push you to play at a higher level. So Travis, super excited you're here. Welcome, my friend.
Dude,
I think I covered, that was the intro.
Dude, that's great, man.
Yeah.
That's a great intro.
Do you want me to travel with you, do intros?
Yeah, no, I have a few people in my pocket. I'm just like, man, you just need to come wherever I go and just introduce me, because it's so hard to introduce yourself. I heard it's the 90-10 rule. If you introduce yourself, you got 10% effective, but if you have someone else introduce yourself, it's 90% effective.
I have no idea why it is, but it is the way it is. It's a funny story. My little one, she was going to be student body president at school. Well, she wanted to go for student body president. And she goes, can I bring music? And the teacher goes, well, if I let you do it, I got to let everybody do it. And she literally got out there, and finally she looked at the teacher and says, well, then let everybody, I'll be starting, or some crazy thing she said.
Yeah.
And she had Pitbull introduce her, and she literally came out to, I Believe We Will Win. And what's funny is, think about how powerful music, think about from a brand element, how powerful music is and everything. So it's an honor to introduce you, and I love having you on the show. People ask all the time to be on the show and be around it. And something about, like, did you know it was like right outside those doors of the studio that you and I chatted and met the first time?
Yeah.
It's like right there after that event. So super excited you're here. I want to get to branding. I want to get to AZ Brotherhood. I want to get to value-based growing businesses. And I just got to start at the beginning. Young guy, powerful guy, entrepreneurship, man. You help entrepreneurs. How long have you been doing this?
So right out of high school, I got into fitness coaching. If I couldn't play professional baseball, then I wanted to at least
Did you want to be pro?
train the goats. I did when I was junior high school. And then I fell in love with the personal training aspect of it more than that. And so I got all into the fitness.
So we're like,
coaching.
you truly wanted to go pro ball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I wasn't one of those guys that just said I did. I was out there with the ball and tee, hitting it ball after ball tons of times. But, you know, there's a reason why athletes that play at a high level end up training their kids to perform at a high level, is because there's already a pathway. And I felt like if I would have had more of a pathway, maybe that would have been, but woulda, coulda, shoulda was never.
Were your parents athletes?
They not the way that me and my brother were athletes, but
how'd your brother do?
He did pretty good. He unfortunately had an injury that sidelined him in high school. But right after high school, I got into personal training. I was a strength coach at the University of Utah. Worked with the football team, basketball team. As I got going along, I had other personal trainers come my way asking me how I built my business, and I knew that what they were struggling with, even before I talked to them, is they came in and they said, if I'm good at what I do, I'm just going to get paid for it. And we don't realize that we go into our business because we love it, but that's what we get to do after business, after we learn how to brand, after we learn how to market and sell. And so I started getting into the branding, was up at the National Speakers Association for 2 years, got to rub shoulders with some really powerful speakers.
Anybody in particular?
Dan Clark, top 10 motivational speaker in the world. Jason Hewlett, he's on the Speakers Hall of Fame. Ty Bennett, maybe some guys you don't know, but that travel around the world, make millions in the speaking realm.
So you saw another way to fill stadiums.
Yeah. And so I just learned the power of, the story. Facts tell, but stories sell. Facts might inform, but it's really the stories that transform people.
So let me backtrack here for a second. This is where this show just goes to interesting place. People love to get to know people. So let's play a little timeline here. Probably ask questions you've never been asked before. Which I've had people on the show going, I never revealed that to anybody. I had a pro golfer on. Lady, I could introduce you to Tori also. She's Arizona #1 woman golfer. She'd be wonderful to meet. I'll make sure you guys meet. She was on the show.
Playing golf.
She's incredible. Nice. And the reason I bring this up is sophomore year, you still wanted to play pro. What sport?
Baseball.
Okay. Pitcher, catcher?
I was a third baseman.
Third baseman. Yeah. Okay, good. So you want to do it. And then eventually, how did that, and the reason I ask this question is, a lot of people never had a dream, never had a goal in their life. Like you were getting up early, doing the thing. Like I have my oldest daughter with cheerleading. It was like, get up, practice in the backyard. There was always like a mat down, just doing double round off back handsprings in the living room, trying to like not break your neck. Do you know what I'm saying? My little one's doing double axles for her skating. You were doing everything every day, getting up. And who was pushing you?
I was pushing me.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was just innate?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think my dad pushed me, but I believe I pushed myself more.
Okay. The reason it does, because the reason I ask this is I always want to figure out like what somebody has inside, because you're obviously very successful now at what you're doing. Where did that all start? So when I think about this, you were driven to do it. And then around junior, senior year, was it just not getting the college stuff? Or
I think I just fell. We had a really bad team.
Okay.
We had a really bad team. And so I remember after my senior season, one of the managers came up and handed me this really nice certificate. And I'm like, what's this? She's like, you just got first team all region. And I just remember feeling how empty that felt, even though I did good, but our team lost every game during the season. But during that spout in high school, I was never the kid that hit home runs in Little League. In fact, I was the only kid in Little League that didn't hit a home run that was on the All-Star team.
Really?
I was always the skinny, small
What'd
kid.
you get known for?
Because
as a kid, it's like hitting home runs is the only thing. What were you known for? How do you make the All-Star team if you don't just singles, doubles?
Good enough to hit the ball, but just not out of the park. I was really skinny. My friends questioned if my parents fed me. I was really, and I got into lifting weights, and I remember
about 13, like we all did.
Yeah, 13 actually. Yeah.
How much? What would you take for muscle gain? I remember like weight gain 5,000.
I had.
What'd you take? Because I remember putting like eggs in it, and then I put extra protein, and then I added like extra powdered milk to add even more protein. Like, what was your formula?
Gosh, I did all that stuff. I remember my brother brought home this really crappy protein from
Was
high
it
school.
like in this big of a jar?
Oh yeah, it was like a 5-gallon. It had the chunks in there.
Weight gain 9,000.
Yeah, something like that. And I remember puking it all downstairs after a workout. And after I puked it out, I was like, there I go. I just puked out all my protein, and then I went back and plugged my nose and drank it again and cleaned it all off. Like, I was pretty dedicated, but I fell in love with the personal training aspect of as time went on, and so I thought, I'm gonna follow this route. So,
and then you started coaching athletes who got to where you thought you wanted to go. And the reason I ask it, what was that like? What was it like training the people that were now doing the thing that you thought you wanted to do that you didn't want to do anymore? And the reason I ask that question is a lot of people are coaches and they coach people that maybe have a business that they wanted or other thing, and they're helping them. What was it like to help somebody who's now doing the thing that you used to want to do that you don't exactly want to do anymore, but you're enjoying what you're doing now? That was a lot at once.
To be a part of their success was cool. Yeah.
And that's what I noticed about you from the moment we met. Yeah. And I wasn't sure how you were going to say that exactly. Like, you love being part of watching other people succeed.
Yeah.
Do you know that's a rare trait?
I grew up being on teams, and it was so much more fun to my dad pulled this one coach aside, and I remember this conversation. He said, listen, I know you're trying to get everyone equal playing time here, but those kids that shouldn't be playing as much that you're trying to get in, they're going to have more fun winning than they are trying to get more playing time. And so I just believe, and you might have heard this before, like, yeah, fun is fun, but what's more fun is winning. Winning is fun.
Yeah.
And when we're not winning in business, it's not quite as fun.
No.
So,
What's Travis's definition of winning?
What's Travis's definition of winning?
Man,
that's
with
a
all the
good. Dude, what's your definition of winning?
Well, my definition of winning
definition?
is it depends, but winning is really being able to do what it is that you want. And the reason what I mean by winning is when I take a look at my definition of winning, I don't really want to win. I want to be winning on a regular basis. And winning is you are setting your life up to be the life that you really want it to be long term. And you're doing the things that'll lead you to where it is you want to go. I think a lot of people want to win or to have won. I like winning. And I look at winning on a regular basis. I think we're winning right now on the show. I'm learning from you. I'm winning. Yeah. And I make winning so easy to get. I don't make it complicated. When I'm doing the things that I want to be doing, I'm winning. And when I'm not doing the things I don't want to be doing that I should not be doing at all. And I don't mean the things like going to the gym or training or running. I'm talking about things that like aren't right. You got to ask your life, is your life working? So really it is it leading to your life working the way it's supposed to work? So that's complicated, but I'm going to tell you winning for me is a daily thing.
Yeah. No, I love that definition. It kind of brings me back to the definition of success. Well, how do you know you're successful? Well, you set a goal and you achieved it. And I think as high performers, it's about really resetting another higher level to reach for. You know what I mean? Kind of coming back to average sucks. If you're not constantly redefining what winning is and what success is, then you fall back into that mediocre. And I talk a lot about happiness. Like, why did people come to the event? Because they wanted to be happy, right? Why do we sign up for the things that we want to do? Because we want to be happy. Happiness is not a destination. It is a constant journey of progressing. Like, you think back when you're the happiest in your life, is because things are getting better. Your health's getting better. Your relationships are getting better. You're making more money. So I really thrive on progression. Progression is winning in my eyes.
That's big. So doing better than you were yesterday and winning. It's funny. I took baseball. There was a gentleman I met the other day. I have a good friend named Spence. He's a top PT, one of the top PT guys in a very unique modality. As I have two guys I work with. I have Jeff and Spence. They're both great PT people. And they help me. I got my chiropractor, Dr. Steve. I've got my whole modality. I keep listing people. Megan does IVs and Dr. Miller. I got all these people that help me with my stuff.
Yeah.
And what's interesting about it is there was a gentleman in the office the other day, and when I met him, he said, really, this guy played 20 years professional baseball. And I said to my little one was there with me. I said to her, do you realize that every year 764 baseball cards are made? And this guy had it 20 years straight. He maximized that card out of the 6 billion people on the planet. This is one of them. And what's interesting is he said, every day you're competing just with yourself. It's the only person that matters. There is no team. There is no other person. There is no trying to make the spot. You're competing with what you're capable of on a regular basis. Yeah. And that's another version of winning. Like, am I competing with myself? Am I competing with God put me here to do?
Yeah, I think we stop competing with ourselves when we're not living up to the full level that we know we can. Now we start looking at our neighbor's scorecard to try to build up our self-worth inside of us. So yeah, I think that's something I've always been pretty good at is like not looking at someone else and, comparing myself to them. It's being ultra competitive with me, with Travis Brady.
And having Travis be the best Travis he can be. So when you go work with a client, I'm going to get to that in a minute. Do you find this athlete mentality shows up?
Absolutely. Yeah, I love working with athletes too. Yeah,
I see that smile on your face.
It's grit. It's pushing through it. It's it's all the things. Tom Brady is he related? He's one of my favorite athletes. So my grandpa does the genealogy, and he says he's a third or fourth, second cousin or something like that. So if you look at me and my brother and the Brady's own
family. She's a Steelers fan. She'll be upset.
Steelers fan. Which, by the way, I was asking your daughter, I was like, so is your dad harder on you or easier than you? Because it's usually one or the two.
What is the answer?
I was just raised that way to go get what I want.
Oh, she was raised that way.
There we go.
I think
there we go. That's a good answer. That was a really good answer.
Push.
Yeah.
We push.
Anyways, if you look at us, we're that tall, skinny, kind of lengthy. The Brady joke growing up was all Bradys are slow running. And I was like, nah, that's not going to be me. I'm going to be fast. I always try to go against that belief. But I've learned a lot from Tom Brady over the years, and his documentary is insane. Yeah. Like, to see where he's come, and it boggles me that how people talk shit on him. And the craziest thing,
how could they not? Because when you do incredible things, a lot of people hear about you.
Yeah, that is true.
Trolls will always show up, and they show up for more when they make you insecure.
Yeah.
The greatest way to make people feel insecure is to go be great.
Yeah, it's true.
And it's crazy, isn't it? They bitch, deflating balls or doing this, or like, all he cares about is winning, or they're talking about his wife and this and that. Dude, we don't know a damn thing about this guy. Have you ever met him?
I have studied enough to know.
But if you've never met him,
I have never met him.
You have an idea of him.
We're going to hold an event.
Yeah.
We're gonna hold an event in a couple of years.
Say it. Speak it into existence.
So Tom Brady is gonna be here, Phoenix, Arizona, for one of the brand X's in the future.
I love that. I might have somehow a contact. So this is a weird story. The people that do our finances stuff are out of Boston. My life insurance was sold by his dad.
Right.
So his dad, Tom Brady and Associates Insurance Company, is the one that sold me my life insurance. So I have his dad's business card. So we got an in here. I'm being very serious right now.
No,
so we got to figure that out. Now you're gonna have to pay the bill to get Tom to come out, which means we need enough people to come to the event to understand. So they believe in today. We get a chance to get more people to come to the event, make a difference in their lives. We can get Tom in town.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna make it happen. One of my other really good friends, he's a Tom Brady fan. He's like, dude, you better bet your ass I'm gonna make this happen. I'm gonna figure it out. We're gonna figure it out.
We'll figure it out. I love it.
So this isn't the first time I've said this on camera, but I'm gonna keep saying it until it happens.
We had a lady once, and I'll get back on track in a minute. I spend a lot of time with athletes because I love being around. Like, let me ask you like a blunt question, and answer honestly. How many real high performers do you have like in your life out of all the thousands of people you come across in a day? Like, how many high performing, high producing, legitimate people that think the way you think? And it's okay. It's scary to say.
Put a percentage on that.
A percentage are like 5, 7, 10, 15, 20.
What would you say for you?
I mean, I probably have a few hundred in my life out of the tens of thousands of people that I come across.
Nick Saban said something. He said high performers don't get along with average performers. They constantly butt heads, and so that's really hard for me to say, because I would say the person that we work with, they want something more in life. Like I see some of these, I don't know, just comes up a lot, and I see people in their 40s and their 50s and they're still second guessing. You ask them what's the biggest risk they've made in their life, and they can't really add. It's like, dude, what are you doing?
Buying their house 25 years ago.
Yeah, what are you doing in your life? You said you have these big goals, but yet you're not making the sacrifices. Like, when do you expect to do this? And we all think that we're the exception to the rule, that when we decide everything's going to blow up. I love when Grant Cardone talks about his brand, and he talks about it's going to take 10 to 15 years. Are you willing to put in 10 to 15 years to make this work? We see these overnight successes, and they're the exception, but we think we're the exception, and then we stop playing by the rules that we need to in order to win in business. And so I think most people don't realize that it's a lot more of my favorite saying is, business is up and down. You're going to go through ups and downs of business. The first person that wins up the hill is usually the fastest. They're making decisions fast. They're not worried about whether they're right or wrong. They make their decisions right. But then business is about going downhill and investing and putting your money where your mouth is. And that takes balls. And the person that has the biggest balls wins going on the way down. And so
it's so easier said than done.
Yeah.
Because every time the market goes down, it's like, this is a great time to buy more.
Yeah.
When the market's up and everything's going good, if it ever goes down, I'm going to buy. And then we have that innate thing in our minds. I'd love to figure out what that is. We're like the market at the beginning of the year, after like whatever it's geopolitical or whatever happens, they screw with stuff. Let's just get really real. They screw with stuff. Somebody knows things we don't know. Markets go down 20%, 15%. That is code word to buy and really make a decision. But the majority of people I come across, even myself included, when it comes to that, goes, well, what if this is the one time that it doesn't come back?
Yeah.
And I don't know what that little voice is in our head or where that thing comes from, but the people that don't hear that voice, that literally go, you know what, I've been waiting forever for this. Yeah. So the reason I bring this up, and I mentioned the thing about athletes a minute ago, and I'll go back to that statement, is I had a lady that their neighbors, friends with an Olympic athlete, and she basically said, you have to look in the mirror and decide in advance that you're going to be that person and start telling people, like the Tom Brady thing. You've got to tell them until it becomes normalized and it becomes natural and you become delusional. I mean, I'm pretty sure Gary Vee will own the Jets one day.
Yeah.
I'm sure Patrick Bet-David, the thing, whatever, I don't know what percentage of the Yankees he's got or whatever it is. I've seen him talk about that. I know nothing about it, but he's got his Yankees pennant, talks about being a part owner. Yeah. He probably talked about that one day. So the fact that you're doing it, as weird and uncomfortable it is, that's really your identity. And then eventually, I believe that when you identify as something long enough, people will buy into your own delusion and they'll meet you in your delusion to make it possible. Yeah. So that brings me back on track. So we're back. Total ADD. You're an athlete.
Bring it around.
You're still an athlete. Yeah. You start training people. You're a coach. And do you know Vince Del Monte? Do you know Vince? Out of I got into that world. Vince had him on the show. Great guy out of Canada. He's a great trainer. He's been doing this for a while. I think he called him the Skinny Vinny to start with, and eventually got bulked up. And he treats online trainers. You did online training for how long did you do that for?
So it was in person.
Oh, it was in person. With real people.
Yeah. So I started before the whole Facebook day. It was back in 2000. The end of 2004. 5.
No Facebook yet. MySpace.
Yeah, there was no.
MySpace.
MySpace.
You could have been the MySpace fitness guru for 1 year.
It wasn't really used as like an advertising, although when I'm looking back, I should have absolutely used it. So yeah, I grew up in the time of before the social media. So when people complain about building a business today, I think it was 10 times harder back then.
I think it was more focused. I think there was more. I think if you were legitimately, because you couldn't fake it back then.
Yeah.
If you were legitimately great and driven back then, I believe it was easier. I think there's a lot of distraction right now. I believe if you're legitimately great and driven now, you can do way more. But back then there was less going on. Put one yellow page ad out there, do the coupon mailer, basically have a website, you're done.
Yeah.
That's all you need. Maybe an automated voicemail system. Now it's like, do I use Instagram? Do I use Facebook? Do I use Snapchat? Do you use AI? Which AI do I use? Blah, blah, blah. That's where it gets confusing.
When did you go all in on social media? When did you were like, man, I gotta focus on this?
2007, I believe I got a Facebook account.
Okay.
Instagram a couple years later, never really used it. And then I personally do what I do and I let people help me put it up, meaning I'm built a little different. I don't wake up in the morning. People should build a business they want to build. I wake up in the morning and like the last thing in the world I ever want to do is just go shoot videos. I'd rather talk to you, share a couple things, come up with cool ideas, wall them and flow them, a method actor, which means if it doesn't feel right, I just don't do it.
Yeah.
I don't do anything I don't want to do. I'm one of those people. So I'm not really good at just acting and going on the screen. So I'm all in by me living an incredible life, showing really cool things and having my team broadcast it for me.
Yeah.
So I guess that's social media, right?
Yeah. Everyone has a different ideology of how to present themselves online. And I think you got to find what works for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fitness training, you did that for years. And then how did it merge into, because I want to go, how did you get to eventually brand X? Let's take it a minute. Let's go slow through this. Because this is what they want to understand. Like people want to know, like sometimes on a show like this, one little thing that you say, it could be as simple as people after this goes, put a new ad out there going, if you were an athlete in high school and you were driven and got up and played T-ball, you're the kind of guy I want on my sales team.
Yeah.
Like that could be what they take away today. It could be the biggest thing. So tell me about that.
So it was, I started to prepare for a bodybuilding competition because I wanted to be seen as the best in my industry. And it really,
from skinny to bodybuild.
Yeah. So it really messed with my mind. I developed this really bad image disorder. I became obsessed with what I looked like.
Do you recommend bodybuilding to people?
No, I really don't. Like it's,
I've heard this story. Unfortunately, I get this a lot of my clients.
And honestly, it's worse for women too. Yeah. And women try to go down these really low % body fats, and not only is it bad for them, I just think, I think women have a harder time. Women are more compared for their physical looks than men are. You know what I mean? So I can go off on a whole tangent of that. Anyways, it sent me through a whirlwind, and I was in my backyard sticking my fingers down my throat, throwing up Gatorade because I thought it was too many calories. It was like 5 nights in a row of doing this after the competition, and I'm just like, the fuck am I doing?
What'd you feel at that moment?
I was just like, I just felt like we all have feelings of imposter, but I'm like, I'm actually an imposter.
So you looked one way on the outside and felt a different way inside.
Yeah. So I went in and I faced the mirror, and I looked into the mirror for the first time in years. Usually I'm scared of the mirror. I judge myself. I'm hardest on myself. Everyone's afraid of what other people think about themselves, which is really, really funny because we're always hardest on ourselves. Right. And so a good exercise I give people is like, write down all the things that you're afraid of someone might say on you at social media.
That's great.
Right. And they start writing it down, and you start comparing lists of people is like, why is that your thing? Here's my thing. Why is that your thing? Because that's the thing you criticize yourself the most. So you reflect that out in the world, and then usually it comes back to you because you're reflecting that thing. Anyways, so I faced the mirror and I said, what the fuck are you doing? And I looked at myself. And I was like, man, I got to build myself from the inside out. So I got into all the things you do: identity, coaching, mindset, right? And then I went back to my clients and I'm like, I'm building monsters if I'm not helping them transform from the inside out.
What do you mean by monsters?
Monsters is like, I have this girl and she'd be like, oh, I'm so fat. And she'd pinch her fat right here. And she had a worse self-identity about herself than a woman that was overweight.
So do you think?
So I felt like I was building monsters, like only focusing on the outside versus
not building them as a person.
Yeah, let's change on the inside. Confidence is, here's how I view confidence. Confidence is doing the things that you know to be true.
Got it.
I believe that's confidence. If you're lacking confidence, you're not doing something that you know you need to be true. in your life. Like there's confidence. Like, and so I started focusing on the inside out, and I got better results with clients, giving them less information. Because here's the thing: when you change someone's identity, they naturally do the things that they need to do to create that identity and make it real.
So you mean by changing their identity, we're still talking about fitness, right?
Yeah. Because some people believe they're just always going to be the fat kid.
Okay.
I have diabetes runs in my family. I was like, no one runs
I get sick this time of year.
Yeah, no one runs in your family.
No one runs in your family. Look how big you are. Nobody runs in your family at all.
Yeah, I guess so we had to reprogram some of these identities and some of these limiting beliefs. As you've done some work, they come back some of these childhood things. Their mom, saying something to them that really got them in their head about their body.
So you became a mental fitness coach.
Yeah.
Not just, did you just figure this out yourself?
I called this transformation coaching.
Did you go to course, go to class? You
I just took Whirl. I just, through my own transformation, I took what I learned over here from Tony Robbins and then combined it with over here. And I found a lot of in between people that were already kind of teaching this thing. And I felt like it was the next generation of transformation. So I called it Next Gen Coaching.
That's what it started as.
Yeah, that's how it started as.
How long did you do that for?
So we did from 2005, and I think I finished my last client in 2019.
Wow.
So, and then in between was then focused on just the transformation coaching, which was mind and body. I'd help them with their nutrition, exercise, but also help them as a person. But then that's where the coaches started coming my way, the personal trainers. So I naturally just started to help them. And so I just fell in love with that process and went all in. And this last year is when we rebranded from Next Gen to Brand X.
I like it. So how did you come up with the idea like Brand X, like just the name? Because the X is interesting. It's cool. It's cool. It's
if you look at a math equation, the X always is the multiplier. X can represent anything, and your brand can represent anything you are. So you are the Brand X factor. Okay. Like some people I meet in their business are like, well, I'm good at marketing. No, actually, you really suck at marketing. I'm looking at your strategies and your funnels. You're not good. But what you are is a really funny person. People love.
So you're a good promoter.
So you're naturally good at marketing because that is who you are. And so we help people lean into that personal brand, and then we help develop real systems to scale that brand to create more influence, income, and time for you.
We're gonna break this thing down.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna help with this. And side note. You get the event coming up in Phoenix here September 19th. September 19th, 20th. Real quick drop at one time. How do people find out about that?
It's Brand X. We're redefining what branding is. Branding's not a logo. It's not a graphic. Branding starts with who you are, your deepest life beliefs, and then based upon those beliefs, we start building outside of it. You have a different idea of brand. Yep. So the whole event is about real redefining brand and helping you either create, expand, or evolve that brand. So everything's going to be revolved around branding. You're going to have speakers, panelists. There's going to be a crazy cool expo with a lot of booths there. So it's going to be a pretty cool experience.
So really give your company the gift. It's almost giving your company not only a facelift, but just give it the ability to win.
Yeah.
That's what we talked about. So website?
We'll be talking website brandxexpo.com.
Brandxexpo.com. Make sure to drop that in there.
Yep.
Okay, we'll make sure. I'm going to bring that up a couple more times. I'm excited I'm honored to be able to share and help there. And the big question is what I wanted to bring back here is I heard what you said very clearly. I want to say this to speak to myself also. I would naturally say I'm great at marketing, which means I'm great at promoting, I'm great at selling, I'm great at getting things. Mm-hmm. How do we disseminate the difference? I was talking to our builder about this, the difference between out-of-pocket expense, let me just use this word, and her saying out of pocket and out of the budget, which means out of pocket means you're going to now come out of the money, but it could still get covered by the expense. The reason I'm bringing this up is how do we disseminate for people the difference between promoting a message and the strategy that actually makes it so it gets done for you? Both people call both things marketing. It's like I teach this concept when I talk about food. There's a difference between broccoli and grilled chicken and Doritos and slushy.
Yeah.
Those are three radically different things. They're not all food.
Yeah.
If you call them all food, you're wrong. There's nutrition, there's entertainment, there's addiction. I call them all three. Why I bring that up is how could we, for the first time ever, disseminate the difference between what really marketing is? Meaning, is it being good at selling myself, or is it the strategy? Or what could we call those two things? Because you're great at both of those.
Here's what I say. You're going to do whatever it is based upon how you define that. Like if someone says their idea of branding is a logo, then they're going to put together a logo and said, I branded myself.
But a logo's a logo. A logo is not a brand.
Logo is
part of a brand.
It's like saying like, I'm going to judge you on the clothes you wear.
I have a black shirt on.
Clothes is a representation of it's a representation of who you are and how you showcase that, right? Like the person that shows up in a Lamborghini, that Lamborghini is not that person, but that's how they've expressed who they are.
All right, I want to break in here real quick and remind you that motivation and mindset do not happen by accident. They happen by choice. They happen by decision. And why not start off the week in the most incredible way with an incredible Monday mindset that you can activate in less than 90 seconds. Go to michaelbernoff.com/Monday Mindset, and you'll get access to our quick 90-second emails and videos that we will send every single Monday to activate your mindset in business and personal and every aspect of your life so you can guarantee to live an above average life. michaelbernoff.com/Monday Mindset. Get your access today.
Here's how I define marketing. Serving the people you want to serve before they've paid you any money. That's how I define marketing.
So it means broadcasting, sharing, showing.
Yep. Influence, insight, okay? Yeah, you're providing some type of influence, insight, and inspiring. Those are the 3 I's.
And the strategy is then how do I turn that into a client?
And then the strategy is serving them, showing them how you can help them, okay? And then through the process, creating an avenue to work with them more. Okay. That's how I would define it.
So it's what and why to start with, and then how is after.
So yeah, let me get to this. So our motto is our free stuff is better than people's paid stuff. Okay. So now there's the marketing. So now when we begin the marketing, now we go back to our brand. There's 4 questions that every brand has to answer. Okay. I call these the 4 W's. So the first one is, why do you do what you do? Why does Michael do what he does? Because he believes average sucks, right? What's the way he does this, right? So what's his philosophy? What's his formula? So 2 cookie companies could go in business because they have a central why. We believe grandma's cookies bring families together. So that's their central why. But one does the thin, crisp cookies and one does the other big cake-like cookies, right? So they start to separate ourselves as we go down these 4 W's. So we got our why, we got our way. And the next one is who. So who do you work with? And when you're defining who, you have to define what's their problem that they have, and then what's the pleasure that you're able to help them create. And then the last one is what's the transformation. So I call those the 4 W's.
Do you put them in that order?
I think your why is the most powerful, right? Why do you do? Have you read that book, Start With Why? Yeah. They say our behavior, when we answer that question, why, right? Why do you do? They say it connects to the part of the brain, I don't know which part, that is directly related to human behavior. So if we want our message to actually move people to a sales conversation with us, we have to make sure that we're putting our why first in our message.
Yeah. It's teaching real interesting psychology. We've studied this for years. Just put a little thought out there, and you can borrow this after today. If I ask you why, you get uncomfortable. And I did this in front of Mike Arce. Do you know Mike Arce? He owns GSD-Con. I spoke at his event the other day. And in front of like a few hundred people, I asked the question. I said, so why did you decide to work out? And then everybody goes like this. Mm-hmm. But if you give them your why, they don't need to show up with theirs. Mm-hmm. So people need to fill in the why for primitive reasons. People are okay with like, how? Let me show you how to bench press better. Mm-hmm. Do you know why you can't lift the right amount? People shrink. Mm-hmm. And they go like this. So I truly believe when we insert Simon Sinek level the why for them, like we believe here that communication is the most underdeveloped and underutilized asset to help anybody get what they want, and to get what you want is only possible through communication, and every challenge is based on communication. So we truly believe that. That's why we do what we do, and we believe that people are on medications they don't need to be on because they haven't learned how to communicate with themselves effectively. We have a lot of beliefs. But if I ask you why, you're uncomfortable. So I believe you are absolutely correct. So you're filling the void for somebody that primitively they have to answer. And if your why is better than theirs, they'll follow you.
At the end of the day, we hang out with people who believe the things that we do. And
Bingo.
we even connect with people who believe the same things that we don't like.
Yes.
Oh, you hate Joe Biden, I hate Joe Biden. So now we connect because we have that central belief, right? And so I feel like
red food dyes, I hate red food dyes.
Yeah, right. So we connect through that central why. And so and I recommend everyone reread that books. I think sometimes we try to get too much information, but we need to reread the same books over and over.
I have the same feeling with that. Anything worthwhile, I've read like 3-4 times.
Yeah.
It's like Pulp Fiction. It doesn't make sense till you've seen it a few times. This is great. So you start with the why.
Start with why. But if you look at Martin Luther King Jr.'s message, like if I would actually go and listen to this on YouTube, actually listen to what he actually says. He doesn't say, hey, here's our process. Here's what we're going to do. He just sits there and he says what everyone there showed up to hear, which was his belief. We want to hear our beliefs, but we want to hear the other person saying them.
Yep.
That's probably one of the most powerful things I could say in branding. You want to say the things that your clients believe, but they want to hear you saying them in a different way or in a better way than they could have even said so themselves. So he stand up there, he said, I believe every man, woman, and child should be free regardless of their color. And he just sat up there and he shared his beliefs, and he brought this humongous crowd because they centered around that. And I think sometimes we lose sight of our why, then we stop sharing our why, and then we lose the people that, we lose the people. No one really, personal branding is so counterintuitive. You're not actually making it about you. I mean, it is about you, but it's not for you. It's about something bigger than yourself. And so if we can build every brand needs to have a movement. It needs to have a mission and a vision of something bigger than yourself, right? And they buy into you because you've bought into the thing that they're also passionate about.
So, okay, this is you're my favorite conversation right now. I love this because the brand is becoming now the identity, which is becoming how you're seen in what you do. So let's just take, for an example, somebody listening to this right now because they've been through this before. Oh, I came up with my brand and I watched Simon Sinek's video online. They didn't buy the freaking book, but they watched the quick video, which is still better than nothing.
Yep.
And they wrote down their why. And they made one little video online, put a little Instagram up, they made a story, and nobody responded.
Yeah.
How do you help somebody? No different than when you said the bodybuilding was awful.
Yeah.
Does that make sense for what it does for people? You didn't like the bodybuilding as a whole for what it does for people. How do we get somebody, how do you bring the psychological element into this where you mentally train somebody through that? Because I'm telling you, there are people right now getting fired up watching this going, oh man, this is so great. I love what he's saying. Travis is the man. I'm going to go write my why, go out here, go make a freaking video right now. 3 seconds, a day later, no hits on their story, no better than other, or grandma liked it. How do you get someone to like, what is that plan? You know my question.
Yeah. I've been working on this. So you was talking earlier, like, do you have a book? I was like, I'm in the process of writing one. I have some ebooks where I've felt like was going to create the best transformation for people is not just a book, but a workbook. So that's been my pride and joy is putting to this workbook. I'm on the 6th edition.
Okay.
I'll hand people this. They'll have the videos. It'll have the trainings. Go through it. Even if they go through it, even if they listen to the trainings, even if they put thought on it, the why that they have down on their page is not really their why. Okay, we have to dive deeper to that subconscious and unconscious level really to really find what that core why is. So I think business is counterintuitive. It's not easy, right? No. And so your first why is not usually your best why. Kind of like your first post is not your best post.
My first why in business was to survive. To prove a point that I can do this, survive. Like how can I live through the next 6 weeks?
Yeah, and so I believe every business has two whys. There's a personal why of why I'm in business. So why is Travis Brady like, and this isn't my brand, but if we're talking about what my personal why is, like, I love motivating people. I love to be in teams. Yeah. I love to do something that doesn't, like, I grew up kind of a blue collar, working in the body shop at my grandpa's shop. Like, I didn't want to be a blue collar.
Domestic or Euro?
Domestic.
European cars or like BMWs, no, Mercedes? Domestic. Okay, I always ask that because I speak for a lot of shop guys.
Yeah, and so my dad still has it, and my dad planted.
They're gonna love you for that answer too. My guy's watching this.
My dad planted it in my head. He's like, I don't want you to work down here like I did. He felt like he got stuck working there, and he never wanted that for me and my son. So he
hypnotized you.
So he absolutely put it in my head. So that's my personal why. I love talking. I love coaching people. I love being a part of the team. I love the creative aspect of it, but that's not what sells people. I believe that you are the X factor of your brand. I believe you have experiences that are worth sharing with the world. Okay. I believe, and we have all these beliefs, like these really subconscious beliefs. And I believe your best why comes down to such a deep spiritual level. So that's usually where I end up going with people. We go to, well, how did you grow up? What did you believe about God? What was your relationship with God? What happens when you die here? Because we don't know it, but we all are unconsciously living this life based upon what we believe about what happens to us when we die. And I don't think this is brought up enough in the branding conversation. So that's where we go. And then when we start to go there, so like if we were to go down to my deep beliefs, I believe, our goal in this life is to progress. I believe that's why we were sent here, to progress.
Progress individually or as people?
As people, we're sent here to progress and I would say that, we are absolutely, I was talking to this person the other day and they were so stuck on this belief that they used to have. And I said, it's okay to change what you believe, right? Like, it's okay.
I laugh because it is that simple.
Like, and I think we get so stuck on things, but, where it really all started is if I want to progress in this life, then I need to receive something from this world, from this universe. But the universe isn't just going to give something to me. I got to give something to it. I got to give. And so if I'm going to give something, what do I give? I give me, I give my life, I give my experiences. This is what I have. I have all these experiences. I want to share this. So I believe the purpose of life is to share our experiences. So then that dominoes effect in sharing your story can transform the world. So all of my deeper beliefs come back to the brand, right? Build your community. I think every brand should have a community that's bigger than themselves. So I think that's where we need to go rather than the superficial stuff that we get caught up in.
It's just interesting because if you look at social media as a whole, like it's got a really, really, really good side to it. And then it's just like anything in life. Most people, like, remember, you've heard the strangest secret in the world, obviously, right?
I haven't.
You've never heard it?
I haven't.
Oh my God, that's originally personal development came from. It's like, you're about to learn the strangest secret in the world, Earl Nightingale. It's early, before Jim Rohn, before Dennis Waitley, before Tony Robbins. It was the strangest secret in the world. You should definitely listen to it. And it explains it. The first time it's ever said, it's online. It's made on a record player. And it's old school. Okay. And you'll have to listen. You'll probably listen. It's as good as Man Thinketh, and you'll listen over and over again.
Okay, cool.
Why I bring that up is he's the first time I ever heard the idea, probably the first time it's ever said that 95% of the world winds up being dead or dead broke by the time they're 55. Do you know what I'm saying? And then the 5% of the world gets what they want, blah, blah, blah. So if you look at social media, if people actually would just share their experience, the problem is some people are sharing experiences they probably shouldn't be sharing. And some people are saying certain stuff. So if you're sharing something valuable and useful and powerful for people, it's got a great element to it. Mm-hmm. If you're just on there looking because you need to fill a void in your life, that's where the problem comes in.
Yeah.
And that's where I think a lot of people get confused. I think people should look to people who are Tom Brady sharing how he succeeded, going after the Last Dance video, going after all those things that motivated, not to articulate that, but to do something like that. That's where the brand thing comes in. So let's backtrack here for a second. Sure. Somebody starts working with you. You consulting, mentorship, coach consulting?
So it's an agency. So Our goal is to help them either create, evolve, or expand their brand where they're at, right? And that's part of identifying what's the community we need to start building, whether it's online or offline. And then what's the story? So then it's websites, automation, but our bread and butter is sharing the story behind the brand.
So how do you help someone figure out their story?
I
know we can't do it right now. And you got like 15, 20 minutes. We're going to share. How would we begin? How would somebody start realizing they know they need to? Like, what could we give people right now?
The process I go is first understanding the different cornerstones of the brand, which I refer to as the why, the way, the who, the what. Then I go deeper in that concept. Each one of those questions comes from a different archetype within us. So we have our lover, our magician, our warrior, and our king, right? And our lover wants to know why. That's the lover they connect with everyone. They can walk in a room and they can make friends. They're easily able to open their heart. They're funny. They have a high EQ. The magician wants to know the way. How does this work? What's the structure? What's the ABC? What's the 1, 2, 3, right? The warrior is the who. Who are you? Are you the who that works with me? The warrior also has gone through a transformation. To go through a transformation, you have to go through hard times, right? Yeah. You have to go through the ups and downs. And then, so the warrior understands contrast. They understand if I want to be successful, I had to go through failures, right? If I have to consciously understand this, I have to dive down into my unconscious, right? So I teach this concept. And then the last concept is the king. They see cycles. They see vision, right? So the king works off the cycle of transformation. So once we go through all these things and get them down, now it's okay, well, what are the experiences that taught you these things to be true? Because we don't just learn them. This is why school isn't rememberable, is because there's no motion or emotion to lock it into our being. You think about the times where you're the most, where you remember the most, okay? There's a lot of emotion or there was a lot of motion. Sitting down and trying to put words into our being, it doesn't work right that. So what's the experiences that pop up for you with those emotions? Then we start to work backwards, and I lean more into the personal brand. Tasha Skousen, she's gonna be speaking at Brand X. She has the craziest story of.
Do tell.
She has just the
She'll
crazy.
tell
I'll share.
You'll have to be there. Give the cliff notes.
I will show you her video, and she just talks about how her mom gave her daughter up for prostitution.
Oh, wow.
It was on the CNN. They showed up on her. She had to live. Her mom disappeared and she had to take care of her sister. So she was working 3 jobs while sleeping behind McDonald's. Like, it was the crazy. And so you look at it and you go, well, that has nothing to do with her business. But after you get done watching it, which your eyes are probably watered and you're just like, what an incredible human being. I trust her. I connect with her. She's hard work. Like, look at all the unconscious.
Thank God I didn't have to go through that.
Yeah, look at all the unconscious things that was said through that video. And so now when we get to the conversations over here into the sales process, we've already overcome a lot of those common objections.
It's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. So basically, your job is not to sell anything to anybody. It's to connect.
No, I think you want to go the opposite way.
Not sell.
Let's not sell. No. Let's
I think sales is I think we need sales skills inside. I think there's points of a conversation.
Yeah.
We've got to ask for what we want, not get deterred. We've got to be tough. We've got to figure it out. We've got to do all those things. I think there's moments in this stuff that we need to be able to do that. Yeah. But real influence is really getting someone to believe it's their idea.
Yeah.
And it's something that they've always wanted all along.
But to come back on that idea as well, like, we're not ignoring the business. So a lot of the people we're working with, a big part of who they are is the business. Otherwise, like, especially as men, like, we chose our careers, like, men gain the confidence off of, like, we derive our confidence off what we create in this world. Women, I believe it's more off the relationships is where they develop their. So for men, it is going to be more leaning into the business. And I would say, and this is just a general trend I've noticed. And with women, it's going to be more not associated with the business. But I don't try to take this framework and force it into people's brand. I use it as a guiding compass, and then let's see where this.
So you want to get people to figure out who the hell they are. Mm-hmm. So you had people that were not getting the results they wanted fitness-wise back 20 something years ago, whatever that was, right? Mm-hmm. And you found the mental side of this. So you believe there's like a mental side to coaching somebody through marketing. I will tell you, almost every marketer you meet is strategy driven. They understand the strategy. They've read every Dan Kennedy, Sugarman, Russell Brunson is the new age of who read all those books, and all these old school marketers, and they can repeat it, they can regurgitate it. But you got this interesting blend of you where you're like, you actually understand how to guide somebody mentally and emotionally through the path of allowing themselves to do marketing, because it's painful and it's challenging and it's not easy. Yeah. So is it easy? So is it real simple marketing?
I think it's a lot simpler once you start to understand marketing.
Better question.
And I think the way we market our business is the way we want to be marketed from other people's businesses.
Interesting. So you're saying the way we do it is the way we wish other people were?
So I sell the way that I like to be sold. Well, how do I like to be sold? Well, I don't like someone coming in here and saying, and disconnecting from me as a person and just treating me as a transaction. Yeah. That's not the way I like it.
You want to connect. You want it to feel good.
I want to connect. Yeah. I want to make sure they understand my goals and what's important to me, right? And I think that that's part of your brand, right? Is marketing and selling the way that you want to be sold. And some people really struggle with this because they're never sold and they never buy anything. I was meeting with this guy the other day, and he was at the beginning of his career and everything. And I offered him this $397 ticket to come to an event, which you run events. That's next to nothing about really what you could walk away from attending an event like yours. And he said something to the fact
You can't even afford to have them in the room. The air cost you, the AV, the AC, you're 28% F&B.
Yeah, you understand the world.
Yeah, dude. So
it's
$1,000
Yeah.
for them to breathe the air in the room, but you come for $397. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to lose money on you, buddy.
Yeah. And he was saying like, well, so-and-so I need this, so-and-so's I need that. I can't purchase everything. And I was like, no, you can't. But the problem is you're not purchasing anything.
Yeah.
You're not moving anywhere, right? I sell because I am sold. Rich people, this was my epiphany today. This was one of my big epiphanies. Rich people love to be sold. And if you develop a really good sales process and you have a really good product or service and you place it in front of those types of people, they want to be sold on it. They want it to work for them in their life.
They believe.
Yeah.
They're actually the easiest customers to work with too.
Yeah.
Because they're not skeptical.
Which is why you want to brand a face that talks to those types of people. Yeah.
So a lot of people think that's a small group of people. It's a large group of people. It's a large group of people that do well. Every hotel pool in the summer is filled with a lot of those people. Every cruise ship, there's sure people that use 5 or 6 credit cards to get there, but there's a lot of people that can afford our stuff. Yeah. And then I think our insecurity is, okay, let's talk about this. How does not having the right identity for what your business is impact how you talk about your business? Because there's how you identify with you and how you identify with your business. You might even have thought this one through, but if I identify myself as like, well, I think my product's better for people that are struggling versus people because my stuff works better for people that already know who they are and they just would literally love to know exactly what to do and they're willing to do it. Yeah. I do also work really well with people that are the fight, kicking, and screaming. I do both. Sure. And I'm very good at both of them.
Sure.
I work a lot better with people like I can help a lot people that are running $100 million companies a lot easier than a guy that hasn't figured out what he wants to do yet.
Yeah.
How does not knowing our own personal identity impact our ability to build our brand's identity?
So the first event I ever started was called Strengthen Your World.
Okay.
That was the first event I ever started.
Strengthen Your World.
Strengthen Your World. Because I inevitably believe
you probably would explain what that event meant.
Yeah. Strengthen Your World is about when strength is having internal force that is greater than the outside.
Okay.
So if we're strengthening our world, we can lift anything outside of us. So it's an event based upon being the best version of yourself, making more money, being in the healthiest version, building yourself up as a leader. And so the very first formula I teach is what I refer to as the next generation of transformation formula. It's very simple. You probably already do this, and it goes, whatever you believe, you do. Whatever you do, you have. Really simple.
Simple.
Right? And then I break it down even simpler. What is your B? Your B is your identity. How would you define identity?
Identity is really how you see yourself and how you share yourself with the world. It's really it's the act that it's your script. Yeah. I guess the best way is your script. So you wake up in the morning and how I identify with me is how I train you to identify back with me. So it's the way I talk to myself. This is the best way to explain it. Yeah. How I talk to me is how I respond to me. And how I talk to me is how I respond to me. And how I respond to me is how I talk to you. And how I talk to you is how you respond to me. Yeah. So it's really about my response to myself and my response to you. So when I look at the word identity, my identity is my average. My identity is what I do regularly and how I've trained myself and others to treat me.
Yeah. Love it. I simplify it a little bit more, but I love that definition. Identity is who do you believe you are at the core level of yourself.
Yep.
No one else, just you versus you and God. Who do you actually believe you are? I think identity isn't talked about enough today.
So do we think the identity is the act we play or the identity if we really is our identity? Because there's our identity and then there's our fake ID.
Yeah.
And there's identity is
That's why I said, who do you believe you are at your core? No bullshit.
Yeah.
No bullshit.
Well, that's a different conversation than even identity. I don't even know what we call that. That's almost our soul level identity. That's a whole different conversation. Okay. We've walked around with a fake ID for a long time of how we need to be because we didn't act this way until somebody did something in 5th grade to us, 3rd grade to us, 2nd grade. We told ourselves we're an athlete. You didn't know you liked baseball. You picked up a ball. Like, are you really a baseball player? Or is that just your...
Do you believe someone can transform their identity?
100%.
And how...
We do it all the time.
And how,
but I think
how rare is that?
I think we
how
don't...
Rare is it for
I think who are our real identity, if we're going to go deep at the soul level, I think who we are truly in our ability in God's eyes, like our truest, deepest identity, I think is always developing. But I think we play a part out of our own securities and insecurities. And I think we play a game with people and we run these games to convince people of what it is that we are so we can keep up our identity.
Yeah. Why do you think we do that?
Well, it's real simple. It's based on, it's very primitive. It's the way we feel. It's like, it just seems right. We're trying to get something.
Yeah. And I talk a lot about that at the event, just like you're programmed, like we are our programming, unfortunately. And
or fortunately.
Yeah,
well,
that is very true.
It depends what we're programming ourselves to do.
Yeah, that is true.
And it depends what your goals or what your outcomes are. So it's interesting to say the word identity, because I usually talk about it as, I would almost call it a surface level. I'm going to tell you, when I talk about identity, I talk about it in my book. I talk about these quadrants that we have. And one is, the identity is like what we're going to do today. And the odds of you doing something different today, other than your identity, may last a day or two. Yeah. But if you identify as an insecure person, you read Maxwell Maltz, Psycho-Cybernetics? It's another great book.
I have probably lifted the cliff notes of it.
It's fine. It's one of those things. A lot of these books, you don't need to finish. You just need to understand the concept. Sure. Like, if you just get it, like, you don't need to finish the book. You can literally go, got it. But you're controlled by how you see yourself. So I almost think there's another word. Identity is how you want to be seen and how you want people to see you. And the closer we get to our real identity, that might be life's purpose. Yeah. To really get down to the real thing. Like you said, I want to help people.
Yeah. I think we talk too much about mindset.
Yeah.
And I think we need to talk more about identity. The metaphor I use for that is, if you walked into a room, okay, and you were trying to flip on a light and it wasn't working, then you went in the corner and flipped on the other light, what would you conclude? You'd conclude that the circuit breaker is off, right? Yep. And if you flip on the circuit breaker, all of a sudden all those lights pop on. We have all these mindsets that we try to train ourselves to believe, right? But if you flip on the identity, it automatically flips on all those mindsets. Like, when earlier on in my coaching, if I flipped on the identity that I am a healthy being that is in shape, I don't have to tell them to eat right. I don't have to tell them to go to the gym. I don't have to tell them all these little itty bitty mindsets. And I think we do it backwards. We try to train these mindsets, and it almost comes up and contradicts the identity.
Interesting. Yeah. This is a really deep conversation. Yeah. You can be talking like this at the event?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So they're not getting like days of just marketing advice, are they?
No, we're going, it's more of the self-transformation.
Okay.
We do these really cool exercises. Dynamic meditation has been life-changing for me in my life. I don't know if you've ever done.
No, I haven't.
Dynamic meditation is movement meditation. So I went to this 3-day dynamic meditation camp, changed my life. Crazy stuff. Dynamic
meditation. So you're moving and meditating. So you're not having to go, you're like.
Movement, speaking,
it's
yelling.
Like walking hypnosis.
We did this one exercise that was very transforming. It's called the lion exercise. You literally growl and yell at the person in front of you.
Okay.
And we can talk, can talk and say, hey, you need to open up your voice more. You need to speak your truth. But that's a mindset. That's not a body. So the dynamic meditation is meant to merge the mind and body together.
Interesting.
So we do that. And I make them yell. So if we did the exercise, you're going to be no first and I'm going to be yes. So we do all these build up to the end, and the end is you scream at me no, and I'll scream at you yes. And we do that back and forth. And then we switch. Now you're going to be yes, then I'm going to be no. Right. And we do this for 20 minutes. People are screaming like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we did this for so long. I was like, bro, I did this for 3 days. This was nothing. This is just getting started. But then I asked the audience, I was like, what felt better? Saying yes or saying no? What do you think people said?
Yes.
No. They said
no, it's easier. Yes. Yeah. No, it's more normal.
Yeah.
Yes.
They most people had a hard time saying no in their life. And so now we take a deep dive into is like, where's the showing up in your life? So the whole philosophy of this event is not just to learn, but it's also to see how you're showing up.
Got it.
Right.
So you want to really figure out how they're running the life in their business.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, and then we get into, hey, here's how this shows up in your branding. Here's how this shows up in your marketing. But that's more for other workshops. That's for the Brand X. That's for the branding and business workshop. How we brand it now is the Strength in Your World brand leadership experience is what we call it.
So it's experience.
Yeah. And everyone loves it. It's what keeps me going, honestly, is like how crazy transformation. The last experience that we do is what I call the strength walk, and we blindfold people through. I don't want to ruin it because it's very transforming. And this exercise came to me when I was dreaming one night. It just came to me in a very clear, because I was like, we have to end this event in an incredible way that just leaves people just on fire. And it came to me in sleep. And it was, I think what sparked that dream though wasn't God's intervention by itself, but I experienced something that was kind of like it years earlier. So it's a crazy experience. I can't remember why I got up on this.
No, you weren't. You were talking about how it ends, but that's a cliff note. So basically, they're going to end with like Disney fireworks. Basically,
yeah. People have said. I'm just going off what other people have said. They said this is probably one of the best spiritual experiences I've had outside of church.
And I think every business needs that at some level.
Yeah, because I think you're
speaking to my group right now. I mean, our people are very open to this kind of thing. Some groups you're going to go into, they just want tactics and how do I pixel things. And I find most entrepreneurs can't really do anything with marketing advice. I'm just going to tell you, if you're an entrepreneur and you are a driven, passionate entrepreneur and people start talking to you about the strategy, you've got to slow down to do that. Mm-hmm. But if you could actually work on you and figure out what you need to do and then become the person that can attract the people to let them help them, I think it's possible. I think where most entrepreneurs are over inundated with marketing advice and uninundated in who they need to become.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I mean, I can go to 1 million marketing events and I just come out of there and I'm like, okay, I got 15,000 more things to do, add to my list.
Yeah.
But I'd be better off coming up with, okay, here's how I need to do life differently.
Yeah, I followed a lot of marketing strategies over the years, and I think we think that there's a specific marketing strategy that works for us, and we come in and we try to follow it, and it doesn't work, and it very rarely does. The best strategies are you kept working it, you kept moving through the messaging, and eventually you got it to work. So I try to preach that concept. Like, it works. You just got to do it work. If you want to work better, then you got to be better. And if you want to work faster, you got to be faster. And we can help you do those things, but you got to understand that, like, you can't just ship out your marketing to someone else. That's your job.
So you're not taking it over for them. You can implement the strat. You can't. They have to work with you to figure out the messaging. And everyone gets to the point where they finally realize that somebody can't talk for me.
Yeah, so we got 3 levels. We'll coach you on it. We'll do it with you. We'll do it for you. We found out we don't like coaching people with it because those aren't the people we like to work with. We like to work with people that want to do it alongside of them or done for them. But I remind them, just because it's done for them doesn't mean it's done without them.
This is interesting. So I look at you, and I'm a pattern person. You actually don't enjoy coaching people as much as you like being on a team.
I enjoy both.
Let's think about that for a second. If you're coaching somebody and they're not on your team, you don't like coaching them. Meaning, if you think back to your story, everything you told, to listen back to this entire podcast.
Possibly.
Well, let's talk about that. You want people that want to join you on your mission. So what I mean by that is, if you've got that bodybuilder that just wants to be in shape and you know better for them and you know that what they need to do is they need to take care of themselves and understand who they are. And why I'm saying that, it's the identity of coaches. A lot of people say, tell me what to do, and I may or may not do it. Mm-hmm. You want somebody that wants to win, don't you?
Yeah. When I first came into branding, I called myself a branding coach, and it took me so long. To really accept that identity. Because as a coach, you're telling people what to do and how to think and all these things. But what I realized as I got into it, I'm really not a coach. That's what I was getting at. That's not really who I am. I'm a mentor. And so a mentor is really walking a side of them and helping them make their own decisions.
Which is that second group.
Yeah. But as I started going along, I started to realize that's not even really who I am. What I am is what I refer to as now as I'm a branding alchemist. I help people see their own experiences for what they are, and I help them see the changes that they need to make. And coaching cannot come from you. It has to come from that person. They have to make the decision. It's kind of like, you have kids, I have kids. It has to be their decision to do this.
That's what I was getting at. So the coaching, a lot of times, this is why I'm saying you even found out that didn't work as well. Yeah. Just telling someone, I'm going to coach you through your marketing, they're probably not going to do it. Mm-hmm. But when you actually work together as a team and you're part of the process and frame correctly and they invest correctly, that's when the transformation comes in. Yeah. That's powerful. Yeah. Super powerful. That's why I brought that up. It's interesting. You thought about that a second and you recalculated that. So I do believe you coach people, but I think you're even a better captain of a team. I think you're even a better, an example of what's possible, someone to come in and be on the team with them.
Yeah. Someone said this, and I've reiterated my own words, like, who are you to tell anyone what to do? You haven't walked in their moccasins or been through their experiences. It's kind of dangerous to give people information based upon what little you know about someone. I mean, you look at when I sit down with someone to help in their brand, like, I ain't coaching them or telling them anything what to do until I get a full glimpse of what the story even looks like, right? So I think we get it backwards sometimes.
Well, you're doing it right.
And
I
I think
you don't get it backwards. You got it right.
Yeah. Well, it took getting it wrong to get it right.
No, but I'm listening to this. I'm learning a lot here today because A, from what you're sharing, B, who you are as a person, and whether you realize it or not, you're a walking example of what you're talking about. Like even how we met. If you realize we met, we talked, then we got on a call together on a Zoom, then we got on another Zoom, then we met, and I said, I'll come help, shared at one of your events. I got to share. You had a challenge that morning with your dog's okay? Was your dog?
Yep.
Okay. Your dog that morning, and then you still made it to the event. That's the kind of example you came like straight from the vet, correct?
Yeah.
You came straight to the event, showed up at the event, shot a video. I said the podcast, you even showed up early to be here today. And why I'm saying that is like you just live your identity. You're here to serve and help, and you want to see people win. And I truly believe if that is what was the caliber of what marketing is out there, or any coaching in the old days, people said, I want to join your team and I want to help you win. Yeah. And they really backed it up. That's the power. So did you do this exercise for yourself, or it just was innate?
The exercise,
the identity exercise. Did you really take that?
Yeah, I've hired a lot of coaches over the years. Yeah, I've hired a lot of coaches. It took me. I went to all the events, drank all the Kool-Aid. Okay. Went back for seconds.
Went to the event, started drinking. Yeah.
I mean, I'm very receptive and very, very open. Maybe not initially. Maybe initially I might, be a little closed, but I think most people are like
that. Dude, you moved quickly. Well, dude, even when I shared that thing about coaching within 3 seconds, you patterned that so quick.
Yeah.
And you figured that it's massive. Yeah. It's massive. So let's do this. Anything else you'd want to share with anybody if you had to take 90 seconds and give some advice here right now on business, like business advice? Like 90 seconds, you sat down with someone on the street, someone listening this long on the show, they want to win.
Yeah.
And you're on their team and you walk up, you're Tom Brady right now. And you're walking up to that little league team, or you're walking up to that D1 team and you're Tom Brady. You walk into the huddle. What are we saying to them for their business?
Yeah, I would say everything you want in your life is how you frame yourself and how you frame yourself with the world. Branding is really just a frame, is just a screen of which you want to view. And how you view that something is everything.
Yep.
And how you position yourself within your business, how you position yourself solving a problem, it's everything. Like branding is literally a thing that can absolutely change your life. Like your brand is more important than how much money is in your bank account. Like we've seen celebrities go 0 to or 100 to 0 overnight because of something happened. You're like, invest into it with everything, protect it with everything, because it is everything. And in the digital age of AI that we're getting into, it's even more important because AI is going to make you generic unless you give it a frame of which to come from. So branding didn't get less important. It got more important than ever before.
That's a really good picture in that speech. I'm picturing you coming in for that huddle. How do people get hold of you online personally? Like personally you, or is it Brand X? What are we going after?
Yeah, I mean, most people are on Instagram these days. Okay. So I just said, connect with me on there. And have some communities if they want to learn more. I have
off a couple.
The best thing that I have for probably your audience, I have a docu-series called FindYourBrandXFactor.com. Okay. Spent 16 months, over $50,000 putting together videos, blueprints, all the things that you need. So it's really has a lot there. So
and that's a gift?
And it's a gift, yeah.
One more time, the website.
FindYourBrandXFactor.com.
FindYourBrandXFactor.com.
Yep.
That's going to find how they could stand out.
Yep. Story. And so what I love about it is you kind of get to pick your own path, right? Yep. So you go into it and which angle, and it's video trainings, quizzes. I'm updating stuff with it all the time.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, your stuff's great, because I got a chance to speak at one of your events, and I got a chance to meet some of your folks. And I turn in a lot of events, and getting a chance to speak and be part of what's going on in September is very, very exciting. And I can vouch for everybody here. Like the quality of the people in the room are going to be incredible. The quality of the speakers that I've met, some people that I know that are part of your community, is amazing. What I'd love to figure out how to do is how do we get, if they are anywhere near Phoenix, Arizona, September 19th, 20th, probably coming the 18th, event starts 19th to 20th. How do they, I know we mentioned earlier the website and everything. I'd love to figure out how the folks here can get a ticket, invite somebody, show up at the event. I'll be speaking, but I'm going to tell you, I'm going to also be sitting there as a student as well.
Yeah, you're coming. Last year, I'm in this room and I'm just like, wow, there's just so many people that I admire, I look up to. Like they've helped me in so many ways, and this room's going to be a lot of those same rooms. If there's one thing that I brag about is I brag about like how many incredible people I have around me. Like it's my favorite compliment out of everything is like, I love your friends. I love the people around you. And so, I look up to people, I watch people, I idolize people, I mimic the things that they're doing good, and I steal some of the things that they're doing good with our identity. And I
permanently borrow.
I want permanently borrow. So I was like, you need to be in this room. And so when I invite someone to be in the room, it's because I look up to you and you need to be in the room. So the goal is to, someone said this, that you're 3 connections away from talking to anyone in the world.
I agree with that.
And so the brand X is literally like, we can create a world influenced by what's in that room. Being in rooms like those are special. I've been in a few of them over the years. And it's you feel like you're doing something right when you're in those rooms. So message me. We have some incredible ticket deals going all the way up to the event. As cheap as $50 right now to be in a room. So come and let me introduce you.
Instagram? Email? Any other way to get hold of you?
Travis Brady Brands would probably be the easiest way. Okay. That's my Instagram. All one word, Travis Brady Brands.
Okay.
Yep. And
we'll put out some stuff as well.
Okay, yeah, I appreciate
I'm excited about it. And the reason I'm excited is people are just frustrated. Entrepreneurs just get frustrated. It's complicated. They're running the wrong brand. They're making business more complicated. And every time I'm running my brand correctly, for instance, meeting you through somebody, connecting, spending time to get to know you, that's how you roll, isn't it? Aren't you that guy?
Someone said, as business owners, we're all in the relationship business. So,
well, that's why you and I connected so quickly. Yeah. It was like, I've known you. Honestly, we've known each other, about half a year?
Yeah.
And I feel like I've known you for, I'm in my brain. I'm like, how long have I known this guy? Does it feel like I've known you forever?
Yeah, no.
And that's because my why and yours are simpler. We love helping people. We love meeting people. We love making a difference. You love events, don't you?
I do love events.
And I try sometimes when I bring people on the team. So if you love events and you love marketing and you love good people, I guarantee you know some incredible people that these people need to meet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is very exciting.
Yeah.
Any other final thoughts or words?
No, I appreciate it. I love, one thing that you've said that I think people don't really understand is that they always come back to, like we say, Dan Clark said this, top 10 motivational speaker in the world. He's like, you don't rise to the occasion. We don't rise to the occasion. We fall to our level of training, which is we fall to our average. And it's really hard to get you out of that if you're not in a constant environment that inspires that. Like when I come here and I see all this inspires me with my event center that we're getting investors for. Like and you want to be around people where you don't feel quite enough. Because if you're around people that always feel like you're always good enough and you're always enough, you're going to fall and you're not going to progress, and then you're not going to be happy, and then you're going to get stuck on these addictions, other thing that aren't. So I believe like being in an environment is absolutely game changing. And so you should travel at any distance. You should invest any money to be around those types of people. And for some people like, oh, I shouldn't have to pay to be around people, or I shouldn't have to pay to have friends. Let's be very, very clear.
Privilege.
Let's be very clear. There is no amount of money you can pay to be my friend, right? Or be someone else's friend, but you can pay to be in proximity that allows you to create those types of friendships. And so that's what Brand X, that's what is you do. And so, so I'm grateful to be here. Thanks for having me.
This is exciting, man. We're going to do this again.
Yeah,
and I'm just going to say one more time, I'll be speaking at the event. Super excited about that. And what's really great about this is, if you're a student of business or you're a student of growth, I will tell you, anytime you can get around somebody who's put their own twist on something, made it bigger, more powerful, I'm gonna tell you, Travis is definitely that guy. So get around him, get around his team, get there, find him online, do your education, do your due diligence. Most importantly, get that guide that he talked about, and I'll see you there in September. All right, listen, let me take this opportunity right now, congratulate you for living a life that screams average sucks. How do I know that? You're listening to this right now, and I can guarantee you're a person that wants more in life. So 1, congratulations, and 2, I bet you're looking for a shortcut. How do I get there quicker? How do I make this stick more? And since 2008, the fastest way that we've showed people how to become a person that lives a life that screams average sucks, and on top of that, become a person of influence and get what they want in this world, is our Core Live event. We've got one coming up very soon. The website is simple, michaelbernoff.com/Core Live. All the information, all the videos, and everything is there to find out more. And also an incredible early bird special to give you a big old discount. Again, michaelbernoff.com/Core Live, and I'm excited to see you there.